A great debate rages today among gun hipsters, and that debate is on the merits of the paddle release versus the traditional button release. If you don't know what a paddle release is, a paddle is a little lever that's built into the trigger guard, and you often find this on modern Walther pistols. This is a Walther PPS M1 and modern H&K pistols. And obviously the button is the traditional button that we all know. And if you look on H&K forum, the H&K forum, H&K Pro, and the Walther forums, there is no singular subject that gets people more riled up than the debate over the paddle versus the button. And I've looked at some threads that aren't even ostensibly about this subject, but you know, guns come up like, oh, I wish it had the paddle. Like, are you kidding? Like, the button release is so much better. It's like, oh no, the paddle release is so much faster, and I can get to it with my middle finger, and it gets into this pissing contest where people are just, you know, really opinionated. I think some of the merits of the paddle are that you don't have to use your thumb to get it. You can kind of get it with your other finger, with your middle finger. It's just inherently ambidextrous. You know, you don't have to have a button on both sides. The paddle's kind of on both sides. So from that standpoint, it makes sense. The argument for the button is that it's just, everybody knows the button. We've been having buttons since, you know, the 1911, maybe before. And it's not, you don't have to retrain for it. You just kind of inherently know how to use it, and it just makes sense, and it's simple, and why change it? So, valid arguments to both sides. I do tend to think that, you know, when we're getting into kind of the hipster crowd that are more often Walther fans and HK fans, there's more love for the paddle probably than for the button. And that said, though, this is the first generation Walther PPS, which had the paddle. On the second generation, Walther actually changed to a button release. So people, I guess enough people were complaining about the paddle that they went back to a button release on the second generation. And then, of course, that really disappointed the paddle fans, and they just can't believe that Walther would, you know, take away this sacred paddle lever design on their pistol and go to the plebeian button. So, you know, it's like I said, there's a lot of passion on both sides of this discussion. So everybody's got an opinion, and so do I. So I suppose, since this is Hipster Tactical and we're talking about hipster guns with paddle releases, I should share my opinion. And it's not the type of thing I typically talk about in my reviews. I tend to focus on the subjective kind of intangibles of what the gun's like in terms of shooting and handling and what it's like to own and everything like that. You can find lots of other videos that talk about features and stuff like that. But, you know, since we're here, I figure we need to talk about this. And I will probably offend some people when I share my opinion on this hotly debated issue. But I think it's time to put it out there and just kind of live with it. So, without further ado, my opinion on the great debate on paddle versus button is that I just don't give a shit. Thank you so much for watching.